10 seconds.
Good morning. This is Transportation Secretary Tim Gatz. This meeting of the Oklahoma Transportation Commission is being conducted with a quorum of commissioners attending remotely in accordance with the Open Meeting Act. The time is now 11:05 a.m. and the commissioners are now logged into the video conference. The public access will be monitored by ODOT to ensure that if the audio connection is lost or interrupted, the meeting will be stopped until the connection is restored. If the audio connection is not restored within 30 minutes, the meeting will be deemed adjourned at the time the connection was lost and shall reconvene at 1:30 p.m. today. If an audio connection cannot be restored at the time scheduled to reconvene, the meeting shall be reconvened on the next business day at 9 a.m. and thereafter the next business day at 9 a.m. until an audio connection is restored. We are ready to begin, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Tim. I hereby call this meeting to order and ask everyone to please mute their microphones. I'm going to go over some instructions. Please keep your microphones on mute until you're ready to speak. Only members of the commission and the presenters on the agenda will be recognized to speak. Remember to announce your name before speaking each time so we can have accurate minutes of the records for the records. Please direct your questions, comments, and motions to Chair, and I will recognize you. Roll call votes will be conducted with the commission secretary reading off each commissioner's name. Commissioners, please state your name when you vote. I always feel dumb reading this every week. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll at this time?
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn here.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley here.
Mr. Freimiller.
Freimiller here.
Mr. Shannon. Mr. McCowan.
McCowan here.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson here.
Mr. Alexander.
Alexander here.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge here.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson here.
Thank you. Item number 28 is the approval of the minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting on January 16th. Do I have a motion for approval of the items?
Peterson, I'll move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Dyson, second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Freimiller.
Freimiller, yes.
Mr. Shannon. Mr. McCowan.
John, yes.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
The results were approved by unanimous vote. The consent docket contains item number 29, 30, 31, and 32. These items were discussed in detail in your committee meetings. If any commissioners would like to put an individual item out, pull it out for discussion, he may do so at this time. Otherwise, do I hear a motion for approval of the consent docket?
LaForge, move be approved.
Do I have a second?
Peterson, second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn,
Mr.
yes.
Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Freimiller.
Freimiller, yes.
Mr. Shannon. Mr. McCowan.
Cowan, yes.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
The consent docket was approved by a majority vote, a unanimous vote, excuse me. Item number 33 is the engineer's contract. Mr. Pegel, you're recognized to present your items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning.
Commissioners, and Mr. Secretary. Item 33, I have 7 parts. This is again Tim Tegler, Director of Engineering. I have 7 parts. Parts A through E are our statewide contracts. Part A is a statewide all-district, on-demand state bridge rehabilitation contract with EST, H.W. Lochner, Jacobs Engineering Group, MKEC Engineering, Perky Pile Engineering, and Rombeck Engineering. Total not to exceed amount for these 6 contracts are $1,500,000. Part B is a statewide all-district on-system bridge inspections. This is with Burgess and Nyepel, CEC Corporation, Consor Engineers, and Guy Engineering Services. Total aggregate not to exceed amount for these 4 contracts is $1,200,000. Part C, statewide all districts, off-system truss and fracture critical bridge inspections. This is with Burgess and Nyepel and Consor Engineers. Total aggregate not to exceed amount for these 2 contracts is $4,688,539. Part D is also statewide all districts, are on-system truss and fracture critical bridge inspections. This is with Burgess and Nyepel for $2,046,229. Part E, statewide all districts are on-demand ADA improvements. This is with Atkins North America, Cowan Group Engineering, Kimley Horn and Associates, Park Hill Smith and Cooper, also doing business as Cardinal Engineering, R.L. Shears Company, and Smith Roberts Baldischweiler for $1,500,000. Part F and G, these are projects that are in the current 8-year construction work plan. Part F is Noble County and District 4, construction plans for US 177 with Aguirre and Fields for $349,862. And finally, Part G, Mays County and District 8, preliminary engineering and construction plans for State Highway 20 with HNTB Corporation for $472,000. Approval is recommended, and try to answer any questions if you gentlemen have anything this morning.
Do I have any questions? You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item number 33?
Motion, Alexander.
Second by Shannon.
Welcome on board, TW. Good to see you.
Thank you. Sorry, I was having technical difficulties, Mr. Chairman.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Shannon, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
Allen, yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
Item number 33 was approved by unanimous vote. Mr. Figley, you may continue with item number 34.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 34, engineering contract supplements. Again, this is Tim Tegler, Director of Engineering for ODOT. I have only 1 part this month. This is Rogers County in District 8, preliminary engineering and design plans for State Highway 20. This is with Garver for $28,255. Approval is recommended. Try to answer any questions if you have any on this one.
Are there any questions?
Come on in.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item number 34?
Motion to approve by Grimsley.
Do I have a second?
Peterson, second.
Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Shannon, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
Yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
Thank you.
Item number 35 is change orders with cumulative total of 75,000 or less. Mr. Leonard, you're recognized to present.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Mr. Secretary. This is John Leonard, ODOT State Construction Engineer. I'd like to present item number 35, parts A through EE. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $75,000 or less. This item is presented for your information only and no action is necessary, but I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? These change orders were discussed in detail in our commission meeting. If there's no question, Mr. Leonard, you're recognized for percent number 36. Change orders with cumulative total greater than 75,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is John Leonard, ODOT State Construction Engineer again. I'd like to present item number 36, parts A through double G. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders greater than $75,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
I have a question, and it may be totally off base on this. On work order 36 double F and 36 double G, I see both of them were due to errors. Is there errors in emissions reimbursement on any of them? I see they were done by third parties.
Yes, sir. We have a provision for that. Both of these, while they were engineering errors, it was only a result in omitting work that would have been done anyway. Therefore, they are in all likelihood not recoverable. The only time that we will try to recover funds from the designer is if it resulted in additional work. Like we've got one on there that there was an error in the plan dimensions. We had to take a back wall off of a bridge after it had been built. So the cost to reconstruct that back wall will be recoverable to the designer.
Any other questions? Do you have a motion for approval of item number 36?
LaForge, I move to be approved.
Alexander, second.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Shannon, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
McCowen, yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
The motion passed with a unanimous vote.
Thank you.
Item number 37 is the proposed bid openings. Mr. Hackney, you're recognized to present the bid openings.
Robert Hackney, Comptroller Division, Project Funding Manager. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Item 37, proposed bid openings, consists of the final May 2021, the tentative June 2021, and the tentative July 2021 bid openings. The department recommends approval.
Is there any discussion or questions? Do I have a motion for approval of item number 37?
Coburn, so moved.
Second, please.
Second by Shannon.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Shannon, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
McCowen, yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
Motion carried by unanimous. Chairman, item number 38 is the awards by Mr. Dels. You're recognized to present the awards.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. This is Anthony Dels, Office Engineer. Item number 38 are our recommendations from the February 18th bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the February 18th bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. Call orders 400, 405 with the add alternate, 410, 415, 420, 425, 430, 435, 440, 445, 450, 455, 460, 465, 470, 475, 480, 485, 505, 510, 515, 530, 535, 540, 545, and 550. It is recommended that the following items from the February 18th bid opening referred to by call order be rejected, as call orders 490, 520, and 525. This includes our recommendations for award, and your approval is requested.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval?
LaForge, move to be approved.
Coburn, second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Shannon, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
And yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Was approved unanimous. Item number 39 is the amendment to the Department of Administrative Rules. Mrs. Moore, you're recognized to present.
Thank you. Chairman, Commissioners, this is Tara Moore. Item 39 is a proposed amendment to clean up the rules language and provide current references to the design and construction standards section under Chapter 35, Subchapter 9, Highway Lighting. The department is requesting approval of these amendments. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item number 39?
Motion by Dyson.
Do I have-
Second by Peterson.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Shannon, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
And yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried unanimous. At this point, I'm going to enter in item number 42, which is not on our agenda. Is a declaration for emergency, and our Secretary Gatz will bring it to, we'll discuss it with us. Tim, you don't have your sound on.
Got it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an item of new business, and it is a declaration of emergency. I would read the emergency declaration. It is for US 169, beginning 700 feet north of the State Highway 266 junction and ending 700 feet south of State Highway 266 in Tulsa County. The extreme and historic winter weather events in February of 2021 have caused unanticipated pavement failures to areas of northbound and southbound US 169 at the State Highway 266 junction. The temperature extremes from negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, along with an extended snow and ice event, are significant factors contributing to the pavement issues. On February 23rd, 2021, District 8 responded to reports of multiple potholes developing at this junction. The ODOT crews immediately closed the impacted lanes on both northbound and southbound US 169, leaving the corridor narrowed to one lane in each direction at times. Extensive repairs were made and the corridor reopened on February 25th. However, that same day, pavement damage began showing additional areas of distress, likely due to more extensive damage continuing to develop, and lanes were narrowed again. At this time, more permanent repairs are needed. This is a major commuter and heavy truck corridor with an average daily traffic count of 75,000 vehicles per day. The district forces do not have the capacity to make the permanent repairs over this large area. It is recommended that an emergency project be programmed to make the necessary pavement repairs. In accordance with Title 61 of the Oklahoma Statutes, Section 130, and the Oklahoma Administrative Code, Section 731-5-1, (4), I recommend that the Transportation Commission authorize the department to issue an emergency contract for repair of the highway. The estimated cost is $1 million. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I would be happy to answer any questions about this item that you might have.
That item was discussed in detail in our early morning meeting. Are there any questions of any of the commissioners? If not, I would ask for a motion for approval of this.
Move for
emergency.
approval.
I hear a second.
LaForge, second.
Madam Secretary.
It says, Gene, excuse me, it says no commission action required.
I think on this, Tim, does it not require it? Tim?
So Tim, for the amount that we're needing to do, we do require commission approval.
Pardon me. Okay.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll on that declaration of emergency?
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Miller, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Shannon, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
Count yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Come back in.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
The motion passed with a unanimous vote. At this time, we'll go back to item number 40, the director's report, and information only, and no commission action is required. Floor is yours, Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I would acknowledge that we have in the house here at the Department of Transportation, Miss Bailey Williams. She is the governor's policy transportation liaison, and we're pleased that she's on the line with us this morning. So welcome, Bailey. My first want to open with Miss Ernestine Imbro, who is the division manager for our Office of Mobility and Public Transit, is retiring from the department after 30 years of service, and certainly want to recognize her. She has served the agency in many capacities, like enhancements, contract administration, civil rights, safe routes to schools, and has been an important part of our transit operations. She led the department through a major time of change in public transit, and with the launch of the Oklahoma City streetcar operation, she was instrumental in creating the safety operations plan and worked very closely with Oklahoma City. That streetcar operation puts the department in an oversight role, and we continue to interact with the city of Oklahoma City. So we very much appreciate Ernestine's service and thank her for everything that she's done for the state of Oklahoma, and especially in the area of transit. Continuing with our emergency declaration and that item, again, as we discussed at the previous commission meeting, we are seeing pretty extensive immediate storm-related damage. We're going to continue to see that damage materialize and develop going forward. But over that 2-week period, just to give you an idea of the magnitude of the storm, the department in 2 weeks around the clock operations, pretty much statewide, we utilized 103,000 total man hours. We accessed more than 55,000 tons of material, salt and sand mix that we used out on the highway system. And thus far, our preliminary total cost estimate for the Department of Transportation, not including the turnpike operations, is in the neighborhood of $9 million. We expect that to increase a little bit as we get some invoices that come in for both materials and for contractor assistance, where our contracting partners helped us manage our way through these storms. So a monumental effort. Everybody did a wonderful job, and again, but it's still comes at a significant cost in resources in order to manage your way through an event like that. On the pavement condition front, there's no real way for us to try to quantify the damage that is going to be done, because not only was this a significant winter weather event, it's winter weather event number 9 across the 2020 and through 2021 winter. And that's going to take a heavy toll on our maintenance budgets and our pavements. So we have no doubt that we're going to continue to see potholes develop. We're going to continue to see pavement issues present across the coming weeks and months. And it's going to be difficult for us to get our arms around this. We are proactively working on identifying ways that we can address potholes quickly when they form. Really want to stress the importance in this context of sustained funding for pavement improvements and asset preservation over the longer term. And again, it takes a tremendous budgetary commitment to be able to accomplish the types of improvements that are going to be necessary, because of, just for no other matter, this type of winter weather event exposes any weaknesses that you might have in your pavement surfaces. And it's going to take us a little bit to get that all buttoned up. We respectfully request the public's patience with us while we get after these improvements, because they will continue, not just response with routine maintenance forces to potholes that develop, but this may not be the only emergency contract that we will have to let because of these types of issues. And we're going to have asset preservation projects ongoing throughout the spring, into the summer, and into the fall. So again, please be patient with us while we work our way through some really difficult winter conditions that we've struggled with over the course of the last 6 months, since October, when we had our first significant ice storm. In a conversation between myself and Commissioner Coburn a few weeks back, we really got into a discussion about electric vehicles and kind of what the state of electric vehicle utilization is in the Oklahoma region. And I think when you look at what impact that potentially has on Oklahoma in the near term, electric vehicles, as of today, there's no real mechanism to make sure that they are sharing the burden of maintaining, enhancing, and expanding our infrastructure. So we've got to do something in legislation to try to address that fact. Right now, there are a couple of different forms of legislation moving across the street at the Capitol. And they range from something that's very straightforward, like a registration fee, to a much more comprehensive plan that seeks to create a kind of a gasoline gallon equivalent for a kilowatt that has got a lot of moving parts to us. But again, it's probably a more equitable way to try to have some assessment enacted for electric vehicles. There's no magic bullet out there that's going to make a difference in being able to create a mechanism to make sure that electric vehicles are paying a fair share. But I'd tell you that today, more than 20 states across the country have addressed this issue in one form or another in statute. And again, that ranges from a simple registration fee to something more comprehensive, to a vehicle miles traveled type tax that is maybe even a pilot program. So a lot of different ways out there to do this. We're going to have to determine, in conjunction with our policymakers, our legislators, what is the best fit for Oklahoma. I'm very optimistic because, again, I think there's some good pieces of legislation moving across the street, and look forward to continuing to work with the legislature to get that done. To give you a little bit of an idea, there are more than 3 million gas and diesel vehicles out there in the state right now, and about 40,000 electric or hybrid electric vehicles. And I think if you look at the commercial fleet, there are even 4,000 that show up as commercial vehicles that are electric or hybrid electrics. And the industry, electric vehicle industry, projects that nearly half of the passenger fleet could be electric powered by 2040. And I think it's simply a matter of speculation on how fast the passenger vehicle fleet's going to turn over, whether that happens in 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years. But I think it's going to happen. When you hear companies like General Motors advise that they're going to phase out their internal combustion engine by 2035, I think that reality starts to set in. So we're going to see this change happen. Again, it's just a matter of how fast it'll happen. The most important thing is that we need to take action now at the state level to make sure that we've got some mechanism in place to start having the electric vehicles contribute to the infrastructure. We've got some time to make adjustments to it because we won't get it exactly right the first time through, but we need to do something now. And that's really important to us as we see this continue to develop. Certainly, Commissioner Freymiller and Commissioner Peterson have a much better perspective than I on the trucking. When you're talking about over the road trucking, I think that's maybe a slower developing, but I'd certainly love to hear your perspective, commissioners, if you'd like to offer comments related.
Sure. This is Peterson. I'll pipe up. So I've said this morning and maybe a couple of times, I drive a Tesla and enjoy it. And in terms of our truck fleet, I just sent our Wall Street analyst report to Secretary Gatz and Commissioners Shannon and Freymiller, and they're when you talk about 20 years away, it really just seems like speculation. But they say, I believe that perhaps 50% of the Class 8 trucks, which Commissioner Freymiller and I operate, could be over the road electric. It requires a charging network that's not been built yet, but there are electric Class 8 trucks being used today for short trips where you end up back at your terminal where you can recharge. And that is going on today. Those trucks are very expensive and really only work with subsidies. The state of California is very aggressive with that, particularly around the ports. But that's my 2 cents.
Yes, Mr. Secretary, this is Commissioner Grimsley, and you've heard me say this before, but we're dealing in the aviation sector, we're dealing with the similar issues with electrification of flight. That's compounded with the fact that we've had a pretty severe hit to the Aviation Trust Fund this year because of the drop in commercial aviation. So I think this is another area where we're seeing a whole lot of overlap and convergence between aerial and ground-based systems and transportation and some of the similar challenges. And like Commissioner Peterson, I drive a plug-in hybrid and I enjoy the benefits of not buying as much gas, but I do realize that we're not paying as much tax. So this is a problem that's looming sooner versus later. So I think it's a good time to be looking at it.
This is Commissioner Freymiller. I think the long haul over the road is farther down the road. You're going to see the harbor trucks. You're going to see the short distance trucks. I think they're going to be coming on. And matter of fact, in the next 10 years or so, 20 years, but the over the road long haul, which Oklahoma is really a bridge state for a lot of trucks. They enter and exit our state. Them kind of trucks, I believe, are way farther down the road yet.
Thank you for those perspectives, commissioners. And again, this is something we're watching very closely. We're working with the policymakers in the legislature to try to offer some ideas and some insight as to what other states are doing. And again, I tell you that there are some really nice looking pieces of legislation moving over there, even one that gets into the realm of maybe piloting a road user charge type of a configuration here in Oklahoma. So again, a lot of good things happening. We're going to participate and monitor those closely, and I'll keep you posted as that continues to develop. Speaking of forward thinking a little bit, the Transportation Organizational Modernization Initiative continues. We have recently completed our current state analysis. And to give you a little bit of a perspective on where we're at in the timeline. So that current state, and again, I'll provide a copy of that report to you today, but we're putting some of the recommendations that are coming out of the current state analysis into effect soon. Particularly in the area of communications. And again, that's an area that spans both the Turnpike Authority, the Department of Transportation, and the Aeronautics Commission. And it was recognized that we should try to move forward with a couple of these initiatives quickly. That all is synthesized in the report. We've got some employee town hall meetings scheduled in the month of March, where we'll be communicating in a manner that's a little bit more, and again, if you can imagine, in normal circumstances, we would be conducting these types of meetings in person with our employees. But given the challenges of where we're at now, we're having to do those virtual. But we are going to engage, try to answer questions directly that our folks might have about these. So we're going to do that through the month of March. And just talk a little bit about something that's coming out of this that is part of organizational modernization, certainly in the realm of resource sharing. And that's ODOT and OTA's combined letting. We're going to let our contracts together now. And that's very intuitive. That's something we feel like is going to work very well and is working very well. So that's one of the areas that we're seeing results in the near term. That current state analysis is complete. It is intended to, again, talk a little bit about areas where the transportation cabinet, not just ODOT, but the whole cabinet, has opportunities to enhance our efficiencies, to enhance our operations, and maybe come up with some new ideas about how we can do business that will carry us into the future. So again, we're taking a very comprehensive approach and look forward to keeping you posted as we transition from the preparation of this current state analysis, which we just completed at the end of January, and we begin to talk more about what our future looks like. So look forward to sharing information that our committees and our groups come up with about how we can be better as a transportation cabinet for the future. The federal infra grant application cycle is open right now. The deadline for infra is March the 19th. And the department has selected 3 projects that we're going to offer as our applications. The I-40 widening between Douglas and Interstate 240 here in Oklahoma City. The next phase of Interstate 44 and US 75 interchange in Tulsa, which has been the recipient of a previous infra grant to get a project going that's ongoing up there right now. We would love to have some additional assistance with delivering that very important interchange improvement project and corridor improvement project on Interstate 44. And US 81 and the realignment in Chickasha is a little bit more of a rural component. But those are the 3 projects that we've selected that we'll be submitting for consideration in that program this year. And I'll close with a little bit of a discussion about our safety education and awareness effort that we've got ongoing. Make safety stick, everybody click. And as part of that initiative, we spent the month of February talking about engineering safety innovations with a seatbelt usage undertone, which is going to carry through throughout this year-long safety initiative. And in the month of March, we're going to focus specifically on seatbelt use. Going into the heavier traveled months throughout spring, we're going to encourage everybody to do exactly that. Make safety stick, everybody click. A seatbelt is your primary mechanism to protect yourself in the event of an accident. A safety belt can turn an accident that would have resulted in a severe injury or potentially a fatality into something that you might walk away from. So again, very, very important from a safety standpoint. Oklahoma ranks near the bottom nationally for seatbelt usage. And what I'll tell you is that has to change. We've got to do better. And again, it's up to everybody to be a part of that, and just buckle that safety belt. Looking forward to a year-long safety message encompassed within that program. The folks are doing a good job putting it together, and like I said, look forward to more to come around that subject matter as we work our way through the year. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, with that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have of me.
Are there any questions? Because I'm going to ask for a motion for adjournment. If not,
I have one quick comment, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
Commissioner Alexander. I just wanted to say on behalf of ODOT, or I guess on behalf of the citizens of Oklahoma, you guys did a remarkable job during the snowstorm. Want to thank the divisions especially, and those guys out there day and night on those trucks. Our roads out in western Oklahoma they did a great job, and I'm sure they did across the rest of the state. But just want to thank everybody, and especially the guys out there on the front lines that fought that, you know. And again, thank you very much.
any other comments? That was a great comment. That they did a wonderful job here in central Oklahoma. There a motion for adjourn?
So move.
Do I hear a second?
Coburn, second.
Okay, before we vote, Sherry, would you like to give your report?
I'd like to report that ODOT has been monitoring the public video and audio connection through this meeting. And it has been reported to me that the public video and audio connection has been maintained.
The time is now 11:47, and we are ready to conclude the meeting, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor of adjournments? Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Miller, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
And then yes.
Mr. McCowan,
John, yes.
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson, yes.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.